Hello and welcome to City Beat, your central source of news and information for the city of Rocky Mount. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and today's show is all about the Rocky Mount Police Department. You'll have a chance to meet our new police chief, George Robinson. We'll talk about crime in Rocky Mount, initiatives that are working, and we'll talk about how the community can help. Plus, meet Lori Middlesworth, Corporal Lori Middlesworth. Yes, she's special because she's the first and only female to ever serve on the city's special response team. And she participates in a number of different weightlifting competitions. More of City Beat is coming up next.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills, the smarts.
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Hello and welcome to City Beat. We are your central source of news and information for the city of Rocky Mount, and I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman. Today's show is all about the Rocky Mount Police Department, and I'm so excited to have on the show with me today our new police chief, George Robinson. So thank you so much for being a part of City Beat today.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. I know folks have seen your face, so you're not new to the Rocky Mount Police Department. I think you've been here for about 27 years, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so a long time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On your appointment. Yeah. How does it feel after 27 years to finally take the top spot?
Well, it's truly an honor, Tamika, and I'm proud to be here. I'd like to thank the community, the city council, and the city manager for supporting me. This is a big step in my career, and I understand it's a major responsibility. I'm up for the challenge. I just want to see this community safe. I want our families to be safe. That's why I decided to come take this job.
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know, where you're from, where you went to school, why you decided to get in law enforcement.
Well, I was born in Dunn, North Carolina, and ended up living in Durham for a little while. I have a family history of law enforcement. My father has over 40 years in law enforcement. I have two brothers. One brother's with the Highway Patrol, one brother with the Fayetteville Police Department. And I have a younger sister who's also with the Fayetteville Police Department. So all of us together have approximately 100 years in law enforcement. And I think that's what my drive was that got me into this business.
Yeah, you just didn't have a choice, did you?
Didn't have a choice. Didn't have a choice.
Well, that is wonderful. I know your family is very proud of you.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are. Thank you.
Yeah, so tell me about your matriculation. What role did you start with when you came here and some of your other positions? Well,
I started off as a patrol officer, got promoted in the mid-90s. I went to the Detective Division where I was an investigator. I investigated break-ins, and I was later moved to major crimes. That is your most serious crimes, homicides and things of that nature. After a few years in the Detective Division, I was promoted to sergeant, and I went back to patrol where I supervised several men and women. During that time period, I was transferred to the Detective Division where I oversaw the major crimes units, which was homicides and major crimes. Got promoted to lieutenant, went back to the shift, served in that role 4 to 5 years. Got transferred out into an administrative role where I managed grants and budgets and things of that nature. And then later I was promoted to captain over the administrative division and over CID, and now I'm presently where I'm at today.
Wow, so you have really done a little bit of everything, so many different aspects.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so you know a little bit about everything. And I'm sure you've seen so much transition over the years.
Yes, I have.
Do you even know how many police chiefs you've been under?
I have worked for 6 different police chiefs throughout my time, and that included interim chiefs also. But each one of them were unique in their own way, and each one of them I learned something from each. Each had a unique ability, and hopefully I can take what I learned from them and implement it today.
That's great. Now, what are some other positive changes you've seen here at the department?
Well, the department is growing. Technology-wise, we have in-car cameras, body cameras. We're changing with the times. We're staying abreast of what is happening throughout the country, and we're ensuring that the Rocky Mount Police Department stays abreast and make sure those changes are effective with us also.
And speaking of changes, I remember in January when you all talked about crime stats.
Right.
And you mentioned that you've had the highest clearance rate since the 90s, and that's those cases that have been cleared,
Yes.
charges issued.
Yes.
Right. That's
it.
Okay.
That's,
Okay.
absolutely.
Want to make sure I'm right
Absolutely.
on that.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
But what was that like the previous year? We're citing statistics from 2018. So what was it like compared to 2017?
Correct. In 2017, the clearance rate was in the low 20s, around a 23, 25% percentile. But in 2018, it was 64 to 65%, which is double the percentage rate.
Okay.
So a lot of hard work has been put in, and I think that attributes to that high clearance rate.
Okay. Anything else do you think that attributes to that?
Well, we communicate better now. We have put people in training, and the officers are going to better training, and the technology upgrades that we are presently pursuing. And once we have pursued, even the community coming to help us and giving us more information on crime. All of that, I think, has attributed to that success rate. And we also have a homicide unit now, as well as a cold case unit. And having a unit that's just primarily deal with one particular issue versus in the past they would work multiple cases, I think giving a specialty has helped with those clearance rates.
Yeah, and speaking of that, because I know Interim Chief Williams, he implemented that homicide and cold case unit,
He did.
right? So how successful has that been for you all? And I know you did some restructuring of it too.
We have. To date, we've had 18 cases that this unit has investigated. Out of those 18, 12 have been cleared. In 2018, we had 12 incidents. There are still 3 unsolved. And this year, we've had 6 incidents with 3 still unsolved. And those that are unsolved, we have promising leads on them. And I think we will have some closure here shortly, hopefully by the end of this year, and have that take that percentage rate to a lot higher level.
Okay. And since we're on crime stats as well, you talked about an 18% dip in crimes from 2018 also. What type of crimes are we talking about?
We're talking
there?
about property crimes. Those are your residential break-ins, burglaries, and larcenies. That's what the biggest dip was. We're being more vigilant. Our officers are being more alert when they go through the neighborhoods. They're looking for issues and trying to correct it before it becomes an issue. And I think that attributes to the large decrease.
Yes. And I want to fast forward to the beginning of this year too,
Okay.
because this year started off with, I think, about 3 homicides in
Yes, it did.
January.
Yes, it did.
So how is the police department working to kind of address those issues?
Okay, as I said, we have a homicide unit now. And years ago, the homicide unit, they would work multiple different type of cases. They would work a shooting, they would work a homicide, they would work an assault, and that was just too much. So having a unit just that can concentrate on just homicides, that has helped tremendously. In a lot of the homicides that we begin with at the start of the year, we know that there were other witnesses that have not came forward, and it makes our job a little bit harder. But by working tightly with our community, I do see some sort of closure that may come in those cases.
Okay. What can the community do in that instance? If they see something, if they've witnessed anything, what can the community do to help?
Cooperate with the officers. That's one thing we're going to work on our community relations. We have a lot to build on. We've made some progress throughout the years, but there's still a lot of work to be done. The community needs to trust us and to ensure that we're going to do the best job that we can. As I said, a lot of those cases in the beginning of the year, we know there were witnesses and people have failed to come forward. And cooperation, working with the police, we're here for the community, and we have to work together for us to be successful.
And you mentioned community engagement. One of the first things that I noticed you did as interim chief before you were appointed was Operation Community Engagement.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what we might expect.
Well, Operation Community Engagement just showed a partnership between the Rocky Mount Police Department and the Nash and Edgecombe County Sheriff Department. And we basically went out to the community where we made contact with different citizens, not just crime-related issues, but just to get to know people, to let people know that we are out there to support them, and let people know that we support each other. We're a team. Nash, Edgecombe, and Rocky Mount, both Sheriff Atkinson and Stone have been fully supported and showing that we can work together. There's no reason we can't work with the community as a group. That's the only way we're going to be able reduce crime and continue to reduce crime.
And I thought it was good for you all to present together too at the Chambers
Yes, we did.
event earlier this
Yes,
year.
we did. That was a great experience, one I cherished, and hopefully we get to do many more events just to show that we are working together.
All right. Anything else you want to add? Chief, I can say Chief now, Chief Robinson.
Absolutely. We're here for the community. We're going to build this bond and trust. I have a lot of ideas. We're going to implement a lot of new programs and initiatives just to build that trust. That trust is important. The only way we can be successful is by working together. Let's get away from the negativity and work as one so we can be successful and have a safe community.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being a part of City Beat today.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, we actually have one of your officers, Lori Middlesworth, who's coming on the show next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in as well. Like I said, Lori Middlesworth is going to be on the show in just a moment. She really exemplifies diversity in the Rocky Mount Police Department. We'll be back for more of City Beat.
Maria, so how's work?
It was fourth period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bell and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year. I might get to go.
Cool.
Hello and welcome back to City Beat. If you're just joining us on the show today, I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and I want to give a special thanks to Police Chief George Robinson for joining us on the show a little earlier. And also right now we have one of his officers, Corporal Lori Middlesworth, on City Beat today for the very first time. So thank you so much for being a part of the show today, and welcome to City Beat.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I really wanted you on the show today. I'd heard about you a while back, your weightlifting, which was very unique, and then also just found out the fact that you were the first and only female to ever serve on the city's special response team. Yeah, so I wanted to get to know you a little bit better.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on. But first, we were talking a little earlier. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you told me you were from Zebulon, but where you attended school, how you got involved in law enforcement, all that good stuff.
Yep, grew up in Zebulon. Went to high school, Eastwick High School in Wendell. My dad, he worked in Rocky Mount for about 20 plus years for one of the trucking companies, Southeastern Freight Lines. So whenever we would go out as a family, we'd always come to Rocky Mount. So most of my childhood, I remember coming to Rocky Mount. After high school, I joined the Marine Corps. So I was serving the country. I really liked it. They pretty much offered free schooling when I got out. So when I got out, I decided to pursue law enforcement because I felt going from the military to law enforcement would be a nice transition. It also would help me to stay in some kind of service to the community. It's like it was when I was in the military.
So how long have you been a part of the Rocky Mount Police Department?
It's a little over 6 years.
I didn't realize it had been that long. So we came in about the same time. I guess you came in 2013.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so how did you start with the department and how have you matriculated?
When I first started, I was assigned to a night shift patrol unit. I stayed there for a little over 2 years. Then I applied for what's called a Violent Offenders Investigations Unit. I was on that team for 3 years, and now I'm back on patrol at a night shift.
All right, let's talk about this special response team, because when I look at the movies, and I could be wrong, I think about that's really dangerous situations that you have to respond to as officers. So tell me a little bit about your role on that team.
Well, most people call it SWAT team, but we're a smaller agency, so special response team is what we call it. It pretty much is a 911 for law enforcement. When they reach situations of hostage situations, barricaded subjects, or unfortunately when officers get shot and they're down in a yard or something, they will call us. And we have a lot more training on tactical situations like that, so that's what we specialize in. So we pretty much, when a patrol unit responds to a situation like that and they identify it as a need for a SWAT team, they'll call us and we all assemble and we go to work.
So why your interest in that?
Oh, just like when I was choosing the military service, I've always had a knack for whatever was the most challenging and whatever was the hardest thing to do. I've always wanted to challenge myself and do it. When I walked into the recruiter office, I saw the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and I was like, well, which one's the hardest? And they said the Marine Corps, so I went with that one. So when I joined law enforcement, I kind of kept that going. I was like, well, those guys, they're top of the line. They're the most physically in shape. They're very tactical guys. I was like, know what, I want to be a part of that. And they said I couldn't. Well, they said that there wasn't something I couldn't do. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Had no idea that women have never done it before. I just said that's something I wanted to do, and I pretty much strive to do it, and now I want it.
Yeah, how challenging do you think that is for you as a female, or do you even think about it from that aspect?
I really don't. They treat me just like another operator. That's what I love about the team. Is pretty much it's a goal that I wanted. I knew what I had to do to get on it, so I pretty much there's no limitations. If I want to do something, I'm just gonna go for it.
And you mentioned a lot of training. How often do you get training? How do you prepare for something like this?
Well, with that team specifically, we train twice a month. But like I said, Monday and Tuesday I was in training that I signed up on my own. You know, it's just something that pretty much just around the clock. You always want to stay in good physical shape, so I'm always needing to exercise on my off days. Whenever I see training come up through other community colleges and other law enforcement training facilities, try to sign up for it, try to be the best that I can. So you always try to sharpen your tools and never just lay stagnant. You always want to learn something, because it's definitely a career where you learn something new every single day.
Absolutely. You talk about staying in shape, and you are definitely in shape.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were talking about your weightlifting experience. How long have you been involved in weightlifting, and why that interest?
Well, believe it or not, in 2008, I had a New Year's resolution. I was pretty much, prior to that, all I was doing was running, because I was still active duty in the military. Just kind of got bored with running, and I was like, it's January. Let me just make a pact with myself. I need to go to the gym, just try to get a little stronger. And growing up with two older brothers, always in some kind of athletics growing up, I had a natural strength. So as I was working out one day, I was deployed in Iraq. The most senior leader that I had in my unit saw that I was out there flipping a 500-pound tire, and he was like, wow, you're really strong. And he happened to be a power lifter. So he's like, you really should consider, lifting a little heavier weight, because at the time, I was going off of what most females did. So I had just an empty barbell when I did my bench press. I would maybe put a 25-pound plate on each side for squats. And he's like, you're a lot stronger than you think you are. So he slapped on a 45-pound plate on each side, and he said, bench press at one time. And I said, I don't know if I can. And he said, I told you to do it. So I bench pressed it, and I was like, oh, wow, I can do it. And from there, there was no limit.
Wow, and you've won a lot of competitions. The most recent I knew of, but you updated me, was in 2017 when you got first place in North Carolina for the Strongest Woman competition. But you said, no, I've done this on a national level. So please update us.
Yeah, I went to 2018 Nationals. I got third place there. For the past 2 years, I've gone to World's Strongest Woman. I believe I was the only amateur competing. So the rest of the girls were pros, so they've been doing it a lot longer than I have. So I come in 10th and 11th place with that. I have gone to the Arnold Classic.
In the world?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Compete against folks from Britain, the Ukraine, all over. It's very strong women. I went to the Arnold Classic, I believe in 2017, and I got 9th place there. And that was the world's amateur competition. So I try to sign up for as much as I can. I plan on going to World's Strongest Woman again this year. Recently went to Norfolk, got 2nd place at their competition. So I said, I love doing it.
Yeah, so how much can you lift now?
My best is a 500-pound deadlift. I'm pretty much squat 400 pounds on a regular basis, and I can shoulder press a 205-pound log.
Girl, you are strong. Don't mess with you. No, but congratulations. What are your goals in terms of, well, first your career, and then with the weightlifting, what are your goals?
Well, in my career, I said I don't want any limitations. I want to try to be a detective. If I can make it up to captain, which I'm sure I will. I wouldn't mind, in some aspect being a leader as a captain. I haven't decided yet if I want to go full-blown chief or not. I said I'll see that when I get there. With strongman, I said obviously first place in the World's Strongest Woman is always a goal. So I always strive for that.
So how often are you in the gym lifting?
I try to do weights at least 4 days a week, and on my other days I do some sort of cardio. But
maybe we can talk. I just want to be like Tina Turner. Remember the movie? Yeah, yes. I just want to get a little bit of something. Yeah. So maybe we can talk.
Oh, yeah.
What comments would you have, what advice would you have for young girls especially, but in general individuals who want to pursue a career in law enforcement?
Yeah. Well, we're fortunate that we live in an age where most women can do anything. Your only limitations are the ones that you set for yourself. So you can do anything that you put your mind to, and your mind is the biggest hurdle for most women. I said, but in law enforcement, we love having women in law enforcement. because we bring our own little aspects to each call. So don't set limitations for yourself. Sky's the limit.
Well, congratulations for all that you do. And then I forgot to mention, you just won Police Officer of the Year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, from the Lions Club here in Rocky Mount. So congratulations. Were you shocked about that honor?
I was. I said, I know I was in training for the week when they were doing the votes, and I came back and I said, you're going to have a surprise coming up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I still can't believe I got it. But I'm very, very thankful.
All right. Well, thank you for being a part of City Beat. Anything that you wanted to add, Lori?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being a part of the show. Good luck.
Thank you.
On your competitions and on your career.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks to Lori Middlesworth, also Police Chief George Robinson, for joining us on another edition of City Beat. And thank you for tuning in as well. I'm Tamika Keenan Norman. We'll see you back here in a few weeks.